See, I love history. I love it, love it, love it. And the smaller, less meaningful of it, the more I love it. That Allen's crew put in this sluice that doesn't seem to have a gate anymore. Downtown Denver is right there. So therefore, a smaller downtown Denver was right there. This right here was the Wild West, where you'd pull out guns and argue about water rights and kill somebody. That distance this is the Old West right here, and it's just another suburb. And everyone that lives near here and drives over this just thinks of it as a ditch, which it is. It's nothing. But to know, see, I love history. That's all it is a cheap little suburban ditch. I was here 40 years ago, right next to it, many times, sitting on a big stump back there, smoking a joint. We did it all the time, not just when presidents get shot. And there's a ditch there. Sampson, how about this?
This happens a bunch of times, and Alan
Sampson does it over and over. As I'm hobbling by, I want to get some food and I want to sit down so bad. History, this giant history we're bringing. Incidentally, though, personally, I didn't just run across this ditch somewhere and think I'm going to look that up. Well, I kind of did, because it reminded me. However, I know this ditch. He builds it like mad. The tale of two shells. Wrong way.
Okay, thank you. Well, why don't you tell us what the actual story is, rather than that you were here smoking weed when Hinckley was killed.
There's my high school. It was Allen, his hired hand, and it was Amos Sampson and his hired hand. About half a mile away to about 2 miles that way this runs, and somewhere on there what became an Old West gunfight about it.
This is it. We're at the Allen Ditch in Westminster, Colorado. We are going to check this out on a big fight years ago on the digging of a ditch resulted in a murder. We're here with the morgue logs. We're going to check it out. Colfax is here, going to give us a little bit more explanation of what happened here, a murder at the Allen Ditch.
But this was literally the Wild West, right here in this suburban atmosphere. Complete. It's just, the people, it's just where that water is, where the mosquitoes come from. And it may not be the Mississippi River. It was just an enormous fight, a hired hand on each side. Water was an extremely valuable thing in Prairie, Colorado. These lands were worthless until these ditches come through.
The state of Mississippi is only interested in getting this here ditch cleared by sundown.
Mr. William Allen. And somewhere about half a mile away to about 2 miles that way this runs, and somewhere on there, and this muggy water is the Allen Ditch, named after William Allen. William Allen is not listed as the main founder of this suburb of Arvada, but he's listed on some of it. I've seen his grave in Crown Hill, and his house still exists as a historical marker. He was much loved, otherwise he may not have gotten away with the murder. I say murder because it's the other guy proved himself to be such a jackass, and it doesn't seem like murder, and that's what they found anyway. Once he was court-ordered to have let Allen dig the ditch, he then began screwing with him. Before he became a rancher on this land, he He ran a risque nightclub in Denver, and he would have different shows by different performers. But one time he decided that he was going to perform. He built that up, and then he came out sloshed drunk and could barely mutter his way through it, and it wrecked him there. So off to ranching he went. They say he was really very smart, but just an awful, awful man. And he had the unlucky misfortune to have a neighbor named Mr. Amos Sampson, who owned the land somewhere within the miles right here. The man that died was written about very poorly. Everyone seemed to dislike him. And he did things like blocking ditches. He'd done it before to other people. Rattlesnake Dick is what they called him. He wouldn't let him dig the ditch through. But of course, a court condemned the land so that it could happen to benefit everybody. And then all of this became farms. It says swish on here in graffiti. And in another sad story that isn't as old westy and strange is this little girl in the Shaw Heights area, very young, like 16 months, who lived on this ditch just a little bit up the way. Her mother was cooking, and the girl went out into the back and fell into this ditch. Opened the gate and fell in this ditch, and she was found right here at this spot.
Take us back to the year.
You heard me earlier go, well, the early 1800s, because I couldn't.
So 200 years ago.
No. Anyway, Sampson kept cutting the water off of Alan's ditch.